Federal regulators are warning users of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 to turn off their phones immediately. About 1 million of the smartphones in the U.S. are now under recall. Samsung says a battery defect could cause the device to overheat. Dozens of phones have reportedly caught fire since its release last month. The company put out a voluntary recall 2 weeks ago. The government says Samsung has not done enough. Kris Van Cleave is inside the Consumer Product Safety Commission in Bethesda, Maryland. Kris, good morning.
Good morning. There are at least 92 reports of the battery inside this phone overheating. That's resulted in 26 cases of burn injuries and 55 reports of property damage. That includes fires. The message this morning: turn this phone off. As this demonstration shows, even a small lithium-ion battery can cause blistering flames if it malfunctions. The Consumer Product Safety Commission's Elliot Kay.
If it starts charring or it gets overheated, step away from the phone.
The government's consumer watchdog calls the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 phone a serious fire hazard.
Please power it down and return it.
Samsung's U.S. president apologized Thursday.
We did not meet the standard of excellence that you expect and deserve. For that, we apologize.
The FAA says the only way to fly with the phone is by turning it off, keeping it unplugged on board and out of checked baggage.
I've never seen a single product singled out like this as do not turn this phone on a plane. We strongly, suggest this, or if we're an airline, we're not going to let you use this phone on our plane.
Dan Ackerman is senior editor at CNET. He says Samsung fumbled and strung out a crucial recall.
The whole recall process really took a lot longer than anybody thought because Samsung kind of tried to do it by themselves at first.
Kay from the CPSC agrees. He said Samsung should have brought in the government right away to handle the recall.
It's not a recipe for a successful recall for a company to go out on its own. And that, in my mind, anybody who thinks that a company going out on its own is going to provide the best recall for that company and, more importantly, for the consumer, needs to have more than their phone checked.
Strong words there. 97% of these phones that were sold in the U.S., and about 1 million or so have been sold in the U.S., have the defective battery. So far, only about 130,000 have been brought in for a refund or exchanged for a fixed phone. And there are reports the CPSC is looking into other Samsung devices that have had fire issues. Gail?
Oh, boy. Thank you very much, Kris.